Hey, what is up, everyone? This is the Happy Hour in the Land. How's everyone doing? This is a Victory Monday, and this is usually a therapy session, right, with liquid libations, but today we're excited, we're happy. This is a celebration because the Browns got the W. We took out the Raiders by a big margin, 24-10, right? Yes.
24-10, third victory of the season, and boy, what a lot of exciting things to talk about for sure.
Lots of exciting things to talk about. We're going to talk about the Browns in depth. We're going to talk about a lot about the Browns. We're going to talk about Shador. We're going to talk about Quinshawn. We're going to talk about the defense. That's a big conversation we'll talk about in a little bit. But first off, we have to start with the hot topic of the day, Shador. Shador
Well,
gets the W in his first start. Played through 205 yards, through 55% completion, one touchdown, one interception. Got the W in his first start for the first time since 1995.
that's right. With all the quarterbacks that the Browns have had, especially if you guys remember the jersey, right, with all the lists and stuff like that, we can honestly go back to that jersey, which started with Tim Couch, right, which was after 1995. So that means every single one of those quarterbacks, when they debuted for the Cleveland Browns, they lost their game, but not Shador Sanders. And boy, did the sports pundits have fun with that one, eh, Go?
Oh, man, we were just talking about what the big heads were talking right about ESPN, all these other uh, sports shows they got in throughout the nation, and how they are just going crazy over Shador. And it's, to me, insane, right? Like, I'm excited. I like Shador. I think he has great promise, but man, these guys are talking like Tom Brady level excitement here. Rex Ryan, who I don't know, he kind of rubbed me the wrong way last week when Shador played awful, and he was so excited about Shador coming out and playing, and um, it just did not feel good for Rex Ryan, you know.
Yeah, I think he may have lost a little bit of credibility there when he. I understand the talking pundits are very excited. It's Deion Sanders' kid. It's a place like Cleveland, which is an easy punching bag, and so forth, so on like that. But the game against Baltimore, granted, didn't have prep time and stuff like that. I thought he looked absolutely terrible. And for you to come out and start praising him as much as he did, I thought was a bit much. I get we want to encourage the kid and so forth, so on like that. And I'm definitely excited, like you are. We had some nice plays, right? First, um, I think Shador threw three passes that were the longest passes of the season.
Yeah, three passes over 35 yards, and for
Yeah,
the I think we had one other one. I'm assuming it was Flacco in the beginning of the season that also threw a 35-yard pass. But yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that about Flacco, but it definitely doesn't match the 59-yarder Sanders had on Sunday, or that screen pass that ended up being 66 yards. He gets credit for the yards, you know what I mean? And Samson,
Yeah.
what a great running that he did right there. But it was about 5-10 yards away. But I think that goes to tell you that football is a team game, right?
Oh,
And as
absolutely.
we're going to talk about Shador, it is a team game for sure.
Yeah, and with Shador, I am excited. I am excited to see where he can go from here. Am I ready to retire his jersey after this last start? No, I'm not. Um, because this is actually what shocked me, is because I've talked with a lot of Browns fans in the last day about Shador, and a lot of different takes. A lot of people very, very excited, and I don't understand it. Not from Shador, not because of Shador. Like I said, not because of him. I'm not trying to be a hater. Um, but like you just mentioned, the jersey, right? We've had 42 quarterbacks since 1999. That and so with that, it comes a little bit of, I don't know, cynicism. A little bit of, oh well, hold on, I'm not going to get my heart broken again. I'm not going to get excited over 200 yards, 55% completion, one touchdown, one interception. Um, and the main reason is you look at some of the other rookie debuts we've had in the last 42. We look at Charlie Fry. He threw for 226 yards, 65% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Colt McCoy, in his first start as a rookie, 281 yards, almost 70% completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Brady Quinn, 239 yards, 65%. Deshaun Kaiser threw for 222 yards. Baker Mayfield, 295 yards. Bruce Gradkowski threw for 225 yards, 64% completion, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And so those are all great starts. They're all great starts. And obviously, with the exception of Baker, it's a sore subject, right? Those guys didn't pan out. They didn't last very long.
Yeah, I forgot about Kaiser, right? Remember how excited and confident that guy was coming out. We picked him up in the second round, and I think after the second or third game, we all knew that guy wasn't going to be in the league for very long. So you got great points there, Gomer, about how other quarterbacks have come in and done a good job. Can we throw in there real quick? Kevin Stefanski went to the playoffs with 5 different quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
I think he's had something like 13 different starting quarterbacks in just the few years that he's been here. So I know a lot of people like to bash on Stefanski, but I'm sorry, 2-time coach of the year, seems to getting it done with less than superstar quarterbacks. So maybe that, and out of those 209 yards, 666 for that screen pass. That, along with all of those names on the jersey, Gome, you may be very well to curb your enthusiasm. I love that you have it. I have some enthusiasm as well, but boy, I wish we could just go on to those national TV pundits and just shake them up and be like, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. One way or the other, he's going to get a shot. Now, I do have a question for you, though, and it seems like a pretty obvious one, but I'm appreciating where you've been going so far. Dillon Gabriel is cleared, but the Browns last night, right, claimed that Shedeur was the starter. I think he should be the starter. I think Dillon's had some time, and I think we all understand that Dillon's not going to get any taller. I think it's time that we give Shedeur more than one game, right? Give these talking pundits something more to look at. But Dillon was seeming to get better, right?
Yeah, and I think he was. I think he was starting to look more comfortable, but there was some of the just glaring deficiencies. And just in Shedeur, and pointed it out, right, with those 3 passes downfield, or actually 2 of the passes were downfield. That Dillon can't do that, and I think I think we gave him enough games. And of course, if we had the games, we had the time, I would like to see more from him just to see what happens. But I think we've seen enough to say that he's not our franchise quarterback. Now, I do think it is Shedeur's time to see what he can do. And especially like people talking about how many practices and Shedeur's had and whatnot. Sure, I'd love to. I want to see it too. I want to see him go out there and be the starting guy, be the man, and see what he can do. You know, I was a little disturbed by his comments at the end of the game, saying like, "Imagine if I had a whole off season and I did this only 3 practices," and that rubbed me a little bit the wrong way because he still practiced, right? Maybe not with the first team, but he still practiced. He still did like things. Did he not take it seriously when he was second string, third string, fourth string? Did he not take it seriously then?
That's a really good point, because I was listening to somebody the other day and they were reminding us that, some of these guys all throughout high school, all throughout college, they're winners, right? Mm-hmm. I think it was Joe Thomas was talking about how you have to learn how to lose. And all he meant by that was just, not get down on yourself, to try and find the motivation, for these guys to kick it into the next gear. So I think you got a great point there. Was he maybe falling a little bit into that trap? And if he was, maybe then starting him is exactly what he needs. He needs to remind himself that, no, he is going to be the starter. He was picked for a possible franchise quarterback. And I got to tell you, love him or hate him, I love the idea of next year not having to use our first 2 first-round picks on a quarterback, which so far, I've been watching Archie Manning. To be honest with you, I think he needs a second year. But my point is, boy, wouldn't it be great, Gome, if we have found our quarterback and we can use those 2 first-round draft picks maybe for an offensive line, maybe even get Tate out of Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's clear that we need some wide receivers, right? Like, for sure, and line. We'll talk about the running game in a little bit, and I think the line had a lot to do with that. But really, I think besides Bond, I know Bond had two receptions, but like Jeudy, just again disappeared. He had that one big catch, and then he decided to get cute and fancy and do a hop Euro step. I don't know, fumble. I don't know what he was doing, but like it's just been a major letdown for Jeudy this year. I'd love to see what Bond can do going forward. He kind of had a shorter off season or shorter camp, and but I think that's absolutely right. I'd love to get another wide receiver, another lineman would be great. It's just, I mean, you look at where our offensive line is going to be next year, and if like we might need a whole new line. I think we have a possible center that's besides Ethan Pochik, however you say his name. But then but Tonio's probably going to retire. I think Conklin's going to be gone. So we might need a whole new line. So yeah, I think absolutely we need to go offensive lineman. Because with Deshaun Watson's cap hit, like we don't have a lot of room for free agency, so you probably have to build through the draft. And
absolutely, at least one more year, which is a great point. I hope you don't mind me jumping in on there, but you were talking about how Bond did a good job. Jerry Jeudy's kind of a bit of a disappointment. Here's a little bit more why I'm disappointed in Jerry Jeudy, because considering that he's the veteran in the locker room, have some class. You know what I mean? Act like you've been there before. And we've gotten some other free agent wide receiver picks. Oh my gosh, what was the last guy that played for Alabama and was a Raider? And
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, right? Amari Cooper, the guy was a professional, right? An absolute professional. And boy, wouldn't it be nice if we had Amari Cooper to show Bond and some of these other young wide receivers what's up. But that's okay, right? They're a very young team, and they are getting the experience. The rookies are, right? And with Deshaun's cap, like you mentioned before, and those early, I think, right, 4 or 5 draft picks in the first 3 rounds, hopefully will all be starters. If you put that in with how many rookies we've been playing this year, we're going to have a very, very young, stable team. And that seems to be like what they're going for, Gomes. It seems like this whole year was just about, nobody thought we were going to go to the Super Bowl, right? But what kind of foundation can we lay? Because we lost Nick Chubb, right? And that was one of our founding pieces. So obviously Myles Garrett is still there. Denzel Ward still playing like an all-pro. But if our offense is a train wreck, we got to figure out what we have. And it seems like we can debate on some of the receivers, but seems like tight end. We got a nice one in Tillman, who was, I think, targeted 6 times yesterday, and Njoku didn't have a single one. So
that confuses me.
Unless Njoku wants a lot of money, and I know we've talked about it before, how Njoku wants to stay in Cleveland, but no targets, and the rookie tight end got about 6 of them, had the most yards or the most catches out of the team. Yeah, with 4 of them. Maybe they're phasing Njoku out. I don't know. I like him. I hope he stays. I think he can block. I think that's what Fanning Jr.'s got a challenge with, is blocking. So, yeah, I'm afraid it has to.
Yeah, I mean, like while you have him though, you got to still use him. He's athletic, man. Like, and Fanning, I love Fanning. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say he deserves any catches over Fanning, but man, he's definitely probably our number 2, right? But like since Judy's gone, Isaiah only had 2 catches. Like you'd think Njoku would be our number 2 guy to go to, but I don't understand. I don't know.
I think they're working out their offense, right? And their offense goes to the quarterback. And obviously, you train differently for Dillon than you do Shedeur, right? And everybody was waiting for Shedeur. He's a little taller. We got 3 big balls down the field. Give him some time. Let him know that the offensive line hopefully is coming with some help.
Well, and you talk about kind of some of that is what a lot of people kind of forget is I think this was only the 3rd week with our new offensive coordinator that was calling plays. So different type of play calling.
Very true. And
And
remember, last year he wasn't playing. He wasn't calling plays at all. So it's a new first time offensive coordinator, and
mhm,
he's already planned for how many quarterbacks this
right,
year?
right, three, yeah.
You know,
But what I want to say, I think it was Tommy Reese, right? The what I want to say is, Shador gets a lot of credit, right? Obviously he did great, but and a lot of people have been down on the coaches, especially Stefanski, and I want to say a couple things. That third down play where Shador rolled out to the right, threw that ball all the way down to Bond at like the 2 yard line. That was amazing. I was so excited on the play call. Obviously, obviously you got to have the players to execute it, but the play call was great because they went up to the line, or everyone lined up. You could see the defense is coming, just like they were last week with Baltimore. Like
so,
they were in the box, they were coming, and they were not disguising it. And the fact that they planned the rollout to give him just a couple more seconds time, no one Raiders don't know what hit him. And I thought that was just an awesome play call. I was so excited just about the play call. Obviously, there was a great throw, great catch by Bond to get it down, but that play call was just amazing, and I was just excited about it.
yeah, that goes to show you, right, that Kevin Stefanski can order up these big plays. And I think when Baker was around, right, you could see him trying to dip his toe into that, but maybe he just doesn't have any faith in a 40-year-old quarterback, Joe Flacco, who can't move. He
Well,
can
right.
see over the line, but he's not moving. Where Shador, remember when he first started those preseason? Oh my gosh, the sacks that he would take, right? Trying to run around the back and so forth, so on. We only had one sack, and then of course the great play that you just referenced. I think maybe we may be just suffering from the age of technology. 15 years ago, we would have to wait till Wednesday to get another Browns article, to read. Now we can, talk about them every single day, 24 hours a day if we want. I
Yeah.
think there's reason to be optimistic, but I couldn't agree with you more. Going, as far as nationwide, these talking pundits. If his last name wasn't Sanders, and I think you would agree, Gome, because we've been watching the Browns for how long? I've never seen the talking pundits get this excited over a backup to the Cleveland Browns.
Well, the most popular person is the backup quarterback, but I am excited that we have our own Taylor Swift now, Dion on camera all the time. I mean,
Up in
that's
the
great.
loge boxes too. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Every time they
Mm-hmm.
showed him, that guy was up top, man. He wasn't down on the field, which is I was definitely happy to hear because boy, when we drafted him, did I get a whole bunch of Dion's going to be your coach next year? No, 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 no. But I'm with you. I'm glad he was there. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll get some other celebrities to go to a Cleveland Browns game, and who knows? Maybe that'll lower the price of tickets, right? And the new stadium, I heard, are just outrage. Do they not understand that streaming is actually getting cheaper?
Right. Well, is it? Is it? That's a whole conversation. I tried to cut my cord, but my price keeps going up.
Well, it was good to see him play. I agree with you. The nationwide talking pundits need to calm down. I mean, 11 passes, and you just gave 3 or 4 examples of guys that did better. And I think you and I would both agree that he did have some long passes, but let's give him some more time. We're not going
Yeah,
to
I'm
the Super Bowl,
excited.
guys. We got time to see what we got and get excited for next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I'm excited just to see what can happen. I'm not like I said, I'm not over the moon. I'm not ready, like I said, retire his jersey quite yet. I want to see what he can do. I want to see him grow. But a lot of people are like, oh, he threw the ball downfield. And I get it. That's exciting because Dylan Gabriel didn't. I understand that. But if we need a guy with an arm, we'll just bring back Spurgeon Wynn, right? Like, I mean, we need more than that. And we'll see what happens. Again, I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm interested to see him grow. I'm just not ready to don him the king yet. That's all.
Yeah, and he's not helping himself with those comments after the game, talking about how that's only 1 week of practice. And in fact, I thought about that when I saw him at the actual sitting down, at the table with the flag behind him, where he then got a lot more serious and was like, nobody cares about 1 week of practice. You know what I mean? So I think what we saw at the end of the game was just an excited young man. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to bash him for that. I'm not going to bash him for the national pundits. He was an excited young man. He should learn to curb it a little bit like he did after, when he had the pads off and he was sitting down and stuff like that. So that'll come with
Yeah.
time. Ben Roethlisberger wasn't the best speaker, when he first came out, and had many years in Pittsburgh as a leader. Hate to use a Pittsburgh example, but Ben's from Ohio, so sneak it.
Well, I mean, we could always, like I always think about that when we talk about that. I always think of Bull Durham when they're trying to teach them what to say. I don't know. That's just funny.
Classic.
But we want to
Classic.
move on to the run game, and run game was just confusing to me. I mean, Quinshawn, I think, had 14 carries, but he only averaged like 2.9 yards a carry. And I'm not bashing him because I like him. Like he looks tough. He runs hard. I think sometimes, well, I shouldn't say this because I say sometimes he looks a little too hesitant when he has the ball, but I think it's because the defender's already in the backfield and he doesn't have anywhere to go. So I think our run blocking really, really kind of needs some help. But that just goes back to the conversation we had earlier about, drafting a lineman next year.
Yeah, I mean, if he's doing this good with such a poor offensive line, then imagine if he got some help. And we know that teams can change their offensive line in a season. I think the Chiefs just did it like 2 years ago, and somebody else that was a playoff team, right? You can change four out of five guys. It can be done. But just a quick correction, Gomes. It was 16 carries,
My bad.
47 rushing yards, 2 TDs, and yes, 2.9 average. And I'm with you that if you just look at the 2.9 average, you're like, well, that's not that great. But I like what you said, Gomes. It's how he runs. It's a style. He finishes. He puts his shoulder down, and he wants the contact, right? So I can almost see why they would call this, right, the new Nick Chubb, or maybe Chubb was the previous Judkins or whatever you want to say. But he's an exciting running back. If nothing else, I would say that the Wildcat, where he got his two touchdowns, right, instead of seeing Shador, I got to tell you, I didn't hate it, man. When I saw him line up there, I was like, hey, that's one of our best players, and he's going to get the ball right away, and let's see what he does. And wouldn't you know it, 2 touchdowns. I say keep doing it if that keeps getting you touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean it's a great play call because you put an extra blocker out there. They they know you're running the ball, but they just don't know which way they're going. And it's funny because we talked about Deshaun Kaiser a little bit earlier. I remember he was the king of getting in the red zone and then turning the ball over. And so it's like, yeah, let's not put that in our QB's hands, our young QB's hands. Let's just get the ball in the end zone and then we'll recoup and see what we can do from here. I think it was great.
Absolutely, it's a process, right? And you mentioned Baker Mayfield before. I'm sure you remember that when he first went out there, they didn't just have 2 running backs back there. They would sometimes have three running backs just to give Baker some more time, right? To try and get his timing down. Now, again, he's doing a great job in Tampa. He's matured quite a bit. All I'm trying to say is, first starting for Shador, let's build off of this. You don't have to be Tom Brady, like you said. Let's not anoint his jersey right away, right? That's not what's needed. What we need is consistency and growth and moving forward. So let's see how he does against San Francisco 49ers, who won, I think, in overtime last night to Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, they did. I didn't wait. I didn't stay up for that, which I should have. It had big implications on my fantasy team, which I'm still in playoff contention. So
hang in there, Gomes. You still got a shot.
Yeah. But before we talk about the defense, because I think that's gonna be a good conversation too. There's one other thing I wanted to bring up, which really, really kind of really puts me down. Really makes me sad about the Browns, because we talk about building through the draft, and I mean there's little room for free agency, like I said, because of the cap hit that Watson takes. So where there's not a lot of free agents we can sign next year. But I don't know if you saw the report card came out from the Players Association. They released they took surveys of everything, and man, the Browns need to fix this. They got an A in weight room, which yes, great. I love it. They got an A, like I love it. But then, like I think their strength coaches only got a B plus, which is that's the second highest grade. But then like nutritionist and dietitian B minus, food and dining got a C minus, treatment of families got a D plus, training room got a D plus, training staff got a C minus, and locker room got an F minus. Like I know Haslam's taken a lot of flack over his decision making or whatnot. You need to fix these grades because you know what? Cleveland has gotten a bad reputation over the last few years for free agents. And if you have these kind of grades, you're not going to get anybody. Like you have to fix this because your reputation's already kind of in the tank. You need to fix this stuff. Get a good locker room, get good food,
that's amazing. An F minus in the locker room. I mean, what is there, rats and cockroaches running around and stuff like that? How do you get such a bad one? But the nutrition.
Yeah, I would love to see the comments on that.
And the family, I got to tell you, I didn't care for that. You know what I mean? You talk about free agents trying to come to Cleveland, not the best weather. And now you're saying that your family doesn't get taken care of. Yeah, let's hope that his, Brook Park takes care of all of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. And maybe that's how they're trying to fix it. But you can fix the food and dietitian and treatment of families. You can fix that right away.
Yeah, and you have a lot of money, so let's not be. And you're getting a lot of money from the city, so let's not cheap out on taking care of family members and food and just again that locker room. What is an F minus? I'm a professor. I've never given an F minus.
Yeah, if you get F minus, you're really trying to make a point, right?
Yeah, my attention. Congratulations, but here's your F minus either way.
It says 29% of players feel the locker room size is adequate, and so I guess only 29% feel that the size is okay. Which is, I mean, I'm sure in a stadium like that, it's probably hard to fix. But maybe they're talking about too Berea, maybe the training grounds. I don't know because I would think they'd spend most of their time in that locker room in Berea.
But that's funny that you say that because as soon as you gave those grades, I was like, didn't they just beef up Berea a few years ago? Wasn't that?
Yeah, they did.
They were saying how much money they put into it. They were saying how much family stuff was. Again, I don't remember details, but I feel like this was just a big thing 2 or 3 years ago. Berea really getting some jewels to put in its crown for the training facility. So very surprised for that.
And it says 30.
Maybe that's Haslam bribing the news reporters to try and get some more love for Brook Park.
Well, it says 39% of players feel they have enough room in their individual lockers. So I guess that ranks dead last in the NFL.
These are big guys. They need their space.
Yeah. So again, I mean, we can move on to the defense, but I don't know. We just talked about next year and everything like that needs to be fixed, and maybe it will be with the new stadium, but hopefully they can do that without raising the ticket prices through the roof.
That would be nice. That would be nice, and I agree with you. They have to fix all of that. One other stat I would throw in there real quick that they got to fix. It's a little off of what you were talking about, but we started the show with the Browns scored 24 points. That was only the 4th time in 2 seasons that we've scored 24 points.
Yeah.
God bless the defense. I am excited to talk about the defense. Let's talk some defense, Go.
All right. We'll talk about some defense. Well, I guess the first number that comes to mind is the nice round number. A nice round number 10.
Oh, yes. 10 sacks.
10 sacks.
Browns, only 1 away from a franchise record, and
I was so hoping they'd get it in that last drive.
Oh, I thought that was kind of like why they gave him the ball, right? They were like, "Oh, we're gonna get our 11th, man. Have the ball. We're gonna get you." But 10 sacks, yes. Again, to the national pundits who are ready to cast the mold for Shador's statue, right? Please don't forget the Browns had 10 sacks, and of course,
the beautiful thing about it is that it was 10 sacks, but like Miles didn't have a sack until number like 5 or 6, right? Like he he got into the party, I think, kind of late. I think we had at least 4 sacks before he got his first one.
I think you're right. I think it was 4. And when you watch that game, though, they don't always give Miles credit for, or I don't think they do. But Miles had 3 yesterday. But I think that's only because they had let so many people. Devin Bush got in there, right? A bunch of guys got in there. I mean, 10 sacks, right? Jeez, hopefully be the whole team.
Well, I love that play call. You just mentioned Devin Bush. I love that play call because it was a delayed blitz, and he came and he went around the side where Miles was. So those eyes are locked on Miles. He ran right past that I think running back blocker because that guy was watching Miles all the way. So I think that Miles didn't get the sack on that, but I think he deserves some credit because they were looking at him and Devin just came in. I think that was a good play call too.
Amen. And again, good to mention the play call. Stefanski again is getting
well.
hammered.
That's Schwartz.
He's getting hammered out there with how they treated Shedeur, which is a whole nother thing. I saw Alex Smith, talking about how when he was a quarterback, when he was first team, second team quarterback didn't get a lot of reps, but that could be it for a different conversation. But I do remember that play. It was a gorgeous play. Bush went in almost untouched, and Miles did get 3 that game, raising his season total up to 18, which is only 4.5 from the all-time record books held by.
Oh man, I hope he gets that. They're going to double him the rest of the way, so it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. Like, I loved what they did this last week. They put him over center a couple times. They moved him around. They got to do that because they're looking for him, right? But I think that when that happened, I think that opened up the defense for the other guys, right? They didn't. Mason had a great game, which I love too because the defensive tackles. When you have a good defensive tackle, you may not hear their name a whole lot because they're stuffing the zones up, and they're not necessarily getting sacks, they're not getting tackles, but they're doing their job. And to hear his name a lot this last week was great, and I was very excited to see him.
Absolutely,
really
and it actually bodes well for the signing. I'm sure you saw it was a quiet signing for the Browns, right? But they did sign Alex Wright, a defensive end, right opposite of Myles Garrett, and with Mason Graham, like you're saying, up in the middle. We may have an even more exciting defensive pass rush next year. So to your point about it's hard to bring in free agents, but let's keep the ones that we got, like Alex Wright. I think if he could stay healthy, he's definitely worth having.
And I'm not throwing any shade to any of our secondary, like Ward or anything like that. But I was a little concerned that they had Tucker wide open like 2 times, maybe 3. But I think the pressure kind of shook up Geno because Geno's better. He's a better quarterback than that. So I think maybe the pressure shook him up where he missed that wide open player 2-3 times.
Yes.
So I think that was a big play.
And that's a bad team, right? And that's who Oakland Raiders are right now. Not trying to say that we're a dynasty or anything like that, but what they fired their offensive coordinator that day or the day before.
That day I think.
And the defensive coordinator who doesn't double up on Myles Garrett. How long is that guy going to have a job?
Which, by the way, they said the Raiders fired Chip Kelly. Which is he regretting leaving Ohio State now? I'm just saying he had a cushy job down there in Columbus, and now he went to the Raiders. I don't know.
Well, I think they paid him $6 million to leave Ohio State, so I think he's going to cry himself tonight on his huge $1 million pillow.
Well, I'm just saying that for the current Ohio State coaches. Now, you guys should see that and then stay, like Brian Hartline.
Brilliant. Yes,
you
sir.
Should stay because it's a savage jungle out there. You might get fired. Just stay at Ohio State.
Yes, I love it. Yes, absolutely. Ohio State coaches, stay where you are.
Which I don't know if you noticed, I have not used the letter M. Oh, I just did. No, I'm just kidding. I've been using the letter M all day.
And in your nameplate, you have an M, just like I do, right? You should cross those out as well. I did see a TikTok where they went around Columbus and every possible on bus stops, right? Everywhere, even on the seal outside of the horseshoe, right? The M's were all covered up. So much love to to the students of Ohio State and doing us proud.
I'm just looking forward to the game this Saturday. I'm hoping that we can get some of our pride back and kind of shut up those people from up north, and actually talk about pundits or people from all over the nation, because you know how Ohio State's one of the most hated schools. But I'm hoping that people will shut up about our strength of schedule. It's not our fault. Texas sucks. They were number one. They fell.
They were number one, right? And again, I've been watching Archie Manning, and he's doing better. You know what I mean? Now that he's got some more experience. But,
oh yeah, yeah.
I gotta, if you don't mind, I'll throw in that real quick disappointment. I am a college football fan, and just besides that first Texas game, there hasn't been anything really worth much of a contest. So
yeah, everyone. Penn State obviously has had a down year, and then we're not facing Oregon this year, or Indiana, which is weird that we're not facing those guys. I don't think Iowa.
Right, Wisconsin usually plays us tough.
Yeah, which I'm excited. Luke Fickell got. They're going to keep him. So, former Ohio State coach. So I'm excited that Wisconsin's going to ride with him for a little bit longer.
But you get where I'm going, right? I mean, every Saturday you're just. I mean, I literally have turned off the Ohio State game to watch some other ones. And of course, the big game is this Saturday. And I tell you what, now is the time where I don't want to see a close game. If ever there's a time to watch Ohio State blow somebody out, and I will watch every minute of it, that will be this Saturday.
Yeah. My anxiety is through the roof. I'm going to be, I don't know, clenched, grabbing onto the couch cushions. But I'm excited. I can't wait to watch it.
You'll just need some of your classic liquid libations, my friend.
Of course. Absolutely. All right. So I think now would be a good time. You want to jump into the 5 questions with the professor?
All right, let's do it. And for those of you at home, right, I have no idea what these are about, but we've done this a couple of times, and I think he's building my confidence. So I'm feeling better and better every week.
Well, I hope so. I threw in some tricky ones, but we'll go from there. But this is 5 questions with the professor to see exactly how smart he is. We'll see. But first off, so I'm gonna give you 5 questions. Obviously, that's the title right there. But you're gonna have to tell me which one was longer. Which one was longer?
Okay.
All right. So, question number 1. I don't know if you've ever been to Fenway Park or know this little tidbit about Fenway Park. There's one red seat in right field where Ted Williams had the longest home run in Fenway Park history. And it's so it's that. Which one was longer? That home run or Jim Thome's home run in Progressive Field, which is the longest home run in Progressive Field?
Oh, okay. So which is longer? Jim Thome's the longest home run at the Jake, or the longest home run in for the Red Sox, right?
Yep, at Fenway Park.
I was a big fan of Jim Thome. Loved watching him play. Loved the fact. Was very sad when he went over to Philadelphia, but to understand why, right? They paid him an ungodly amount of money to do so, and I think one of our coaches went over there with him, wasn't it?
Charlie Manuel.
Yeah, Charlie Manuel, right? Had some good years over in Philly. So, I'm a big Thome fan, so I'm going to go Thome.
Thome's home run was 511 feet. Ted Williams' home run was 502.
All right. See, there you go, Jim.
Ding!
That's one for Northeast Ohio.
So, all right. So the next one is Josh Cribbs.
My boy.
His longest kickoff return, or Eric Metcalf's longest kick return.
Metcalf, the Ice Cube, right? And Josh...
Gerald McNeil.
I'm sorry?
Gerald McNeil's Ice Cube.
Oh, Gerald. Okay. And Josh Cribbs. Do you know Josh Cribbs and I went to Kent State together at the same time?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So been a big fan of him for a while. And he tied the record book for a while, didn't he? For most returns for a touchdown.
He had it.
I think
He had it. Yeah.
yeah, a year or two. Let's go Josh Cribbs.
Josh Cribbs' longest return was 103 yards. Eric Metcalf's longest was 101 yards.
Oh wow! So
2 for 2.
These are very close. They're going very close.
So I'm going to butcher the name. I hope I get it right. I don't know if I've ever kind of figured out how to say this name. But question number 3, Nap Lejewe. Did I get that right? 31. I'm sorry. He had a hitting streak in 1906. Which was longer, his hitting streak in 1906 or Sandy Alomar Jr.'s hitting streak in 1997?
Well, we've given the answer to Cleveland so far, so let's go one more with Cleveland. Sandy Alomar Jr., great coach, right? Been a great coach for us for a while, and an amazing catcher. I'm going Sandy Alomar.
Well, Sandy Alomar had a hitting streak of 30 games in 1997, and Knapp in 1906 had a hitting streak of 31 games.
Wow, by one. Wow, you are finding some really close ones.
But they also, I don't know, at one time we're called the Cleveland Naps after him. So maybe, I mean, he was obviously a very good player. Obviously, Hall of Fame player.
Well, I see how you snuck that in there, though. Still technically a Cleveland win.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this one's tough. But it's recent. So you might. Question number 4 is: the Cavs had 2 big winning streaks last year. One in October at the beginning of the season to start the season, I believe, and one towards the end of the season in February. So which winning streak was longer, the October winning streak or the February winning streak? Well, they both went into the next month, but still.
I think I remember this. I think they started off pretty good, so I'm going to go October.
October was 15 games.
15.
But later in the season, they went 16. So that was a tough one.
So the ones I'm missing are by one. Mm-hmm. One.
And now, so we're 2 for 4. We're going to finish strong now. We're going to finish strong with this one.
That's right.
All right. So we're going to ask the professor this one. Which one was longer? The French and Indian War or the American Revolution?
Which was longer, French and Indian War or the American Revolution? The American Revolution was longer.
American Revolution was 7 years. French and Indian War was 9.
Oh, I should have known that one. It felt a little weird once I said it because I knew the Revolution was 7, and I was, too many wars over here on this land and by the great state of Ohio. Remember that, folks. Well, Indian War, right? There's a lot of stuff going on in Ohio.
I'm not a smart man, but the French and Indian War just kind of mashes with the Revolutionary War in my like.
Well, that's you had the ultimate cheat code with Mel Gibson movie. Was that the Patriot? Right? He fought in the French and Indian War. His character did, right? And then he fought in the American Revolution. So, movies can be cheat code, right? Classic 7. Right, kind of gives you the 7 deadly sins. Even though that movie is well over 20 years old, still classic. Actually, might be coming up on 30 years.
Oh Lord,
if you can believe it.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Well, you got me some tough ones there, man, but some good ones. So we'll have to maybe I'll study before next time. But those were some.
Well, next time I don't want to hand out the F-. I don't want to hand it out.
Right,
so.
And I certainly don't want to earn that since I've never given it away. But great questions. Good job, Gomes. Look forward to us coming back after the break.
All right, we'll see you in just a little bit. This is the Happy Hour in the Land. I am Gomer. That's the professor. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Happy Hour in the Land. I am Gomer. That over there is the professor. Welcome back to the part 2 of the show. We talked about the Browns. We talked about Shedeur. We talked about just football in general, and it was very exciting because it is victory. Like I said, Victory Monday, right? Like we pulled it out. But coming back to this part, I'd like to take a second and talk about baseball, because baseball. And we're in the off season, of course, but lots of things happening. We just recently, a lot of players have been designated for assignment or non-DFA'd, cut from teams essentially. and it just really kind of you wonder about it, and you just see some names out there like Adolis Garcia. He just got cut. He was like the World Series hero just 2 years ago, and basically had the bottom pulled out from him. The bottom pulled out from him, and it just went down the tubes. So that actually, you know what? Maybe that's a good sign, because he still hit 19 home runs last year, and maybe he can pull it back together. Maybe the Tribe can get him for cheap. You never know, right? So I don't know what he's going for yet, but that would be fun to see. But obviously the Tribe's not going to spend a lot of money here. I think currently we're sitting at what, like 50 or 60 million dollars. We're usually around 100. I think this last year, I think we were around like maybe 132. So there's lots of room there for the Tribe to kind of get some players, right? Like maybe like a Harrison Bader, like a Ryan O'Hearn. I still think that Rhys Hoskins is a good possibility. Nathaniel Lowe at first base. He just got DFA'd. I don't know how much he would want, but I'd love to see him in a Tribe uniform. That would be great. But the sad thing is like we're what's that?
Well, how far do you think 50 million can go?
It's a lot less than you'd think, right? I mean, you can see some splashes in there, but you also expect the Tribe to kind of go out and get a reliever of some sort. And that's going to eat up a lot of money, because pitchers they can eat up a lot of money. Like Brad Keller, I mean he could get like $11 million a year. Oh geez, who else is out there?
Money going? Can we get or keep? Can we keep Kwan? Can we with 50 to 60 million? I hear you about the reliever. Would love a killer first baseman. Can we designate some of that?
You'd hope so. You would certainly hope so. Like I think this last year, I think he made $8 million. So I would love to see him. We don't know what his arbitration number is going to be, or how much he's going to get this next year. That number is going to go up, I'm sure. Won another Gold Glove award out there. How much is he going to want in a long-term contract? How many years? 5. The contracts are going up to like 10 years now. So are they willing to invest that much money for that long, or is he willing to take that money because who has he hit his ceiling yet? He's had the last 2 seasons, he's kind of tapered off at the end. I don't know if he's quite hit his ceiling yet. He might be able to get more money if he holds out a little bit longer. I don't know. Well,
his glove, right? If his batting's going down, his glove certainly isn't. I was there at a game where he had a beautiful off the wall play. And I think even in the playoff game, or maybe it was the game before the playoff game, he played a ball off of the wall in the yellow pole out there, and I'm pretty sure kept the guy at first base. He can anticipate on the field. He studies like a madman. Seems like a great team player. Not just because I played in the outfield, but would love to see him. And with that kind of money, boy, that would be cool. Just part of it. Just designate part of it. You know what I mean? Maybe go get your reliever and your first baseman, and whatever you have left, say, hey, Kwan, we'll throw this in next year as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he led the league in outfield assists, where he was able to throw guys out at second or home. Yeah. He was always so quick at getting the ball in, and got it on line, on target, or at least close to the place where it needed to be, so he would get that out. I'm sure defensive runs saved for him was very high. And of course, like I say, tapered off, he still batted, 270, 275 around there.
And how much
still
of that
second highest batting average?
Yes, second highest. But how much of that was clutch? Again, I didn't watch every game like the old man does. But the games that I was watching when we needed a hit and Kwan was up, I got to tell you, man, everybody in the room was kind of relaxed. We're like, we got this. Kwan's going to hit it. And a lot of times he hit. So 270, I agree, could be higher. But I give him extra points for clutch.
Kwan and Jose, either one of those guys, if they're on, they're putting the bat on the ball, at least a good chance of them doing that. So, and good things happen when you put the ball in play. Man, put the pressure on the defense to score. And oh man, I wish I had that stat on me. I just saw a stat about the last 5 years, how much Jose has struck out compared to these other big names, and it's just like he's struck out so little compared to some of these other big names that just are swinging for the fences. And you know what? I'll take a player like Jose every day of the week instead of somebody like Judge that hits 60 home runs. You have this guy that comes out and he hits doubles and hustles and steals bases, and I don't know how he hasn't won a Gold Glove award yet. He's very consistent with his defense at third base. He's very close. He was obviously a Gold Glove finalist this year. So I don't. He's to me a complete package, and I'd rather have him on my team than someone that swings for the fences.
Yeah, it's the old Babe Ruth issue, right? You know what I mean? When he hits the ball, it's over the wall, but that's iffy, right? Babe Ruth had all those strikeouts as well, and so yeah, I mean, you know, you and I are baseball fans, birds of a feather. I think that long ball is fun, but how many times have we seen the Tribe win with that small ball?
Chicks dig the long ball. So that'll be exciting to see. But I mean, there's hopefully, I think the winter meetings are coming up very soon. So there will be a lot of hopefully movements, a lot of news hopefully coming out. Like I said, we're getting reliever of some sort. I just don't know who it's going to be yet. Ryan Helsley, Devin Williams. I doubt we'd get him, but hey, you never know. That's the thing I like about the Indians, though. They have a great reputation. They don't have a lot of payroll, but they're known for being a good organization. They're known for taking care of their players, and I mean, we've been to the playoffs since 2013. We've been in the playoffs 8 years, and I think only missed it 4 or 5 or something like that. So they know they can come here, compete, and be taken care of. So I feel like this, besides, we talked about the Browns and how free agents are looking at them. This is the polar opposite when it comes to the Guardians. So this is something to look forward to coming up. I love baseball off season. Just a lot of things can happen. And we'll see what happens, of course, right?
Absolutely. And like we said, they got 50, maybe $60 million to play with, but they have some holes. And we have some guys to maintain. So I got to tell you, it'd be interesting off season, especially we have the, the 5 guys choosing the 22 million that you talked about before.
The 4 guys are the most ever that have taken the qualifying offer, which is really interesting that 4 guys have taken it because it's only a 1-year contract for $22 million. And next year there's going to be the work stoppage. And man, I would love to talk about that. The work stoppage is coming. It's coming. And I've been following the inner workings of baseball in the labor negotiations since 1994 when they got canceled. And, I'll just say baseball's broken, man. They need to fix this. There's no way that the Guardians can compete with the likes of the Dodgers, who the Dodgers payroll is more than the Guardians revenue. So, I mean, you could say, oh, why didn't they, the Rays didn't keep Tyler Glasnow? They could have kept him. They could have spent the money. Well, no, they might have, but then they're strapped because their revenue is not as much as the Dodgers. The Dodgers can spend and spend and spend, and it doesn't matter, right? Because kind of what we saw with the Yankees last year in the playoffs, when you have Judge, Stanton, and Soto all coming up, bam, 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 one of those guys is going to do something.
Yeah.
And it's too much to expect just a kind of like a middle of the road reliever to kind of get through that order with no damage, and it's to see what the Blue Jays did in the World Series and kind of limit them was outstanding. Their pitching was great. And obviously it can be done. But in the end, it was just too much. They couldn't keep the Giant down. And, man, I mean, they just need to fix that because it's really hard for the people like the Guardians to compete on a year-to-year basis. Now, what I will say is I am a true believer in the Moneyball philosophy of you get in the playoffs and anything happens. And like I said, we've been in the playoffs 8 times since 2013. So we've had that chances. We went to Game 7 in 2016. and we've only had, I think, 2 losing records since 2013, and one of them we were 80 and 82, so it was so close. So the Tribe has done a great job. That's why I think when people come up and they say, "Oh, do we fix this? We need the salary floor," and I think that's a terrible idea. Salary floor is a horrible, horrible idea, because that will just raise prices on everybody, because it's the same players that are going to be there, and really, who are, I'll be surprised if it gets voted in, because who are we to tell owners how to run their business, right?
Well,
And how much profit they can get.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been waiting. You've been making so many great points, but you really, on that one, I couldn't end up not saying anything. You're absolutely right. This is America, and the whole idea is these rich billionaires, right, have got their team, and to try. That's why I always thought the commissioner idea was next to insanity, right? The commissioner of baseball was paid by all the owners, right, to try and monitor them. You know what I mean? Make sure, but. Anyway, going back to your point, I couldn't agree with you more. Chevy Nova and a Chevy Corvette. They both got Chevy in it. They're both automobiles, but I don't think it's going to be much of a race on the racetrack. So they really do need to work on that. You mentioned the Guardians can't keep up with the record. And of course I don't dispute that at all. But to me, honestly, where my first mindset went was Little Gome and Little Aaron, right? If these tickets keep going up and it's not even much of a contest, well, then Little Gome and Little Aaron ain't going to the baseball park, right? Our parents wouldn't afford it, and we'd be bored out of our mind. Do you know what I mean? Great TV show on a few years ago. I'm sure you've heard of it, Brockmire.
Oh yeah, that's right? Great.
Where he ended up being the commissioner of baseball, and this was far in the future, but they were, just all the problems that were going on with it, and how I think the entire series was talking about how, baseball, America's, favorite pastime, clearly isn't America's favorite pastime anymore. It's been football for some time, and I enjoy still going to the games, but I went there as a kid. But I got to tell you, Gome, if I don't think as a kid I'm going to be that excited to see a Chevy Nova get the wheels blown off of it by a Chevy Corvette.
Yeah, and I think that always brings back my favorite joke is what I've been saying the last couple of years is, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I would only go to and sit in the upper deck because that's all I could afford. And now that I'm older, I only go sit in the upper deck because that's all I can afford. Because ticket price, it's like you can find cheaper tickets here and there, but it's like on average, like on a good game, to sit in the lower bowl at Progressive Field is like $100. Now obviously, like I have found seats and good deals and stuff, and we've gotten to sit in the lower bowl, but man, like that's a lot of money.
Yeah, you really do got to shot the sales, right? And that's what we're talking about now with baseball games. And absolutely, you did. Gome is being way too modest, but one of the second to last games, he found seats for us on the bottom, $30 in the outfield. And boy, we were there 2 days later, and those same tickets had more than doubled in price. And the hot dogs went up $1. You remember that on all the menu boards, they had to scratch out 8 and put down $9 for a hot dog.
Well, yeah, playoff hot dogs they taste sweeter, they taste that much better.
They certainly do. You're right. Take my money. You've earned it.
But did you see too, the game was it Game 5 for the Detroit series? The tickets were like an extra $20. They even went up for Game 5, which was
capitalism. Yeah. Again, streaming at home with your buddies, close to the bathroom, is a good way to go.
Which, what, we're talking about ticket prices. We could talk about streaming too, because I don't know. I'm so happy that we're not in Bally's anymore. I'm very, very, very happy that the Tribe or Guardians are not with our Bally's anymore. But like, I was so disappointed when they got put on their own little thing, and they still charged everyone $100 to come watch them. I said, I know I'm an old guy, and back in my day, but you know what? Back in my day, we was on Channel 43. You just turned it on, and the games were there.
Yeah.
And it's tough. I bit the bullet. I paid the money so I can watch the Guardians all year long. But But I don't know if you heard, but ESPN, of course, bought the rights to the Guardians. That is included in their big package. ESPN bought MLB TV, so Guardians are part of that, and so they don't expect anything to change this year. That will I'm assuming it'll still be, however much it was, 110, 120 bucks. I don't remember exactly the price, but they expect the prices to be the same for at least this year. But who knows what ESPN's going to do with it going forward? But I'm just hoping that they can make a good deal. So, like, I'm fine with it. I can pay the money, but there's some older people out there that just live and die with baseball, and all they can do is listen to Tom Hamilton on the radio because they can't afford to watch it on TV anymore. And it just makes me sad. But part of the package with ESPN is there's games on Netflix now. There's games on, I don't know if there's still games on Apple TV, but MLB TV, there's games all over the place, but they're all streamers. So we talked about cutting the cord earlier, and the prices just keep going up, and they're stringing out baseball to all these different pay services. It's rough. It's rough. It's just the wall's getting thinner and thinner and thinner because everyone's just trying to get their buck.
Sure, and it goes back to capitalism. America, you want to get the most bang for your buck. $120 is a bit steep, but think of those ticket prices we were just talking about. You're not even going to a game for less than $100. So at least you get $100. You get the season. The Browns tickets right at New Brook Park are just unbelievable. Give me NFL Network, or not NFL Network. Give me the ticket through YouTube for $250. You know what I mean? So definitely expensive, but
rumors at the New Brook Park Stadium are $200 a ticket, $100 for parking. So
yeah, I'm not going to that.
I'll wait until they have a free convention or something that I can go up to.
Coupon day.
So, anyways, that's exciting. I'm excited to see what happens this year, and of course, opening day is always circled on my calendar for the Guardians. So, but until then, it is winter. We're going to brave through it. Hopefully, the Browns and Shedeur can keep us warm, and give us a few more wins coming up, going through the end of the season here, but then pitchers and catchers reporting just around the corner, middle February, usually around Valentine's Day. So I'm excited. Can't wait for that.
Absolutely. Go Tribe. And it's going to be some interesting football. I know we're not winning a lot of games, but we got a lot of stuff to look out for. Definitely some growth, but not just from the quarterback, right? You mentioned Mason Graham, definitely doing really good. Harold Fanning Jr., again, seems to be a favorite target of any quarterback. Judkins, the offensive line, is he going to get better with his, like you said, that little stutter step before he goes through? Are they going to continue to do the Wildcat? Or, you know what, we're the Browns. We shouldn't call it Wildcat, right? We should call it Wild Dogs or something like that.
Yeah.
So what's a Wild Pack, or something like that, right? The Wild Dog.
It'll be our own Flying V.
So lots of good stuff to look forward in Cleveland sports. And of course, Goma and I look forward to you guys tuning in and seeing us more and more as we give you the lowdown of Cleveland sports, and not just what we think, but how to correct those talking heads with the national media as well.
Yep. I can't wait. Thanks for joining us. This has been the Happy Hour in the Land. I am Gomer. That's Professor. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.